Here's a rewritten and fully expanded article, keeping the logic tight and making it very different from the original outline. I've structured it into flowing sections with deep detail, aiming for about 10,000 characters as you requested. Cain's dangerous web. Port Charles turns against him. The August 20, 2025 episode of General Hospital pulled back the curtain on one of the most volatile storylines the show has delivered in months. Cain, once a man admired for his resilience, has gradually transformed into the epicenter of chaos in Port Charles. What began as small maneuvers behind the scenes has erupted into an intricate power play, leaving friends questioning their loyalty, enemies sharpening their knives, and even Drew himself teetering on the brink of collapse. By the end of the episode, one thing became clear: Drew's list of adversaries is no longer abstract. It is a coalition of determined figures waiting for him to make one wrong move. The roots of Drew's rage. At the heart of Drew's unraveling is his growing obsession with control. He has leveraged secrets, manipulated allies, and weaponized information to achieve his ends. Stella Henry's sudden entanglement in an insurance fraud probe has rocked the community, and whispers point directly to Drew as the instigator. Meanwhile, Sonny Corinthos, the most powerful man in town, finds himself blackmailed, an unprecedented situation that makes even Sonny vulnerable. And then there is Michael Corinthos, who faces devastating sexual assault allegations. Though Drew's fingerprints are not visible on the surface, his shadow lingers over each of these crises. Drew has convinced himself that his actions are justified, that exposing corruption and weaknesses will ultimately save Port Charles. But the reality is much darker. His maneuvers are tearing apart families, destabilizing long-standing alliances, and pushing people who once trusted him into dangerous corners. The deeper he digs into other people's lives, the more precarious his own position becomes. Curtis rallies for Stella. As Stella's reputation comes under fire, Curtis Ashford steps up in her defense. Realizing the legal storm she faces could destroy not just her career but also her legacy of integrity, Curtis brings in Alexis Davis. Known for her sharp legal instincts and unwavering determination, Alexis quickly becomes Stella's greatest hope. Their partnership signals to Drew that his strategy may not go unchallenged, for Alexis is no stranger to uncovering hidden motives and unraveling lies. Simultaneously, Stella's predicament has sent shockwaves through the Ashford family. Curtis feels the weight of responsibility, Jordan keeps a watchful eye on the proceedings, and even Portia finds herself drawn into the tension. For them, this is more than just another legal case, it's a battle to protect one of their own from being destroyed by invisible hands pulling strings behind the curtain. The Corinthos complication. While Stella's case unfolds, the Corinthos family faces their own nightmare. Sonny, Michael, and Diane arrive at the PCPD, bracing themselves for interrogation. Ada Justine Turner stands at the center of this storm. Her professional obligation demands that she pursue justice, but her conscience tugs her in the opposite direction. Justine knows that Drew's manipulations may be fueling the charges, yet her career depends on proving she can secure convictions without bias. The scenes at the precinct highlight the precarious balance between loyalty and duty. Michael's reputation, already bruised by past mistakes, now hangs by a thread. Sonny, the eternal protector, is forced into the unfamiliar role of the accused. Diane, armed with legal precision, maneuvers to shield her clients, but even her confidence wavers in the face of Drew's unseen influence. Martin's realization. The most significant turning point of the episode arrives when Drew crosses paths with Martin Gray. In a moment of overconfidence, Drew lets slip his knowledge of Stella's investigation. For Martin, the slip is revelatory. Until then, Drew's hand in the scandal was merely speculation. Now, the truth is undeniable. Drew betrayed his friend. Martin has long been a man comfortable with moral ambiguity. He has cut deals, looked the other way, and aligned himself with questionable allies to protect his own interests. Yet Stella occupies a unique space in his life. She represents decency, compassion, and loyalty, values Martin often struggles to embody himself. Drew's willingness to weaponize Stella's good name forces Martin into a crossroads: continue enabling Drew's schemes, or finally draw a line in the sand. The battle at the PCPD. Later, Drew and Martin arrive at the PCPD, where the case against Michael faces a new wrinkle. Detective Chase discloses that no witness at the Metro courthouse can confirm Drew's claim that Michael attacked him. With the foundation of his accusations crumbling, Drew lashes out, accusing everyone of conspiring to shield Michael. His desperation is palpable, his composure slipping as he attempts to salvage his narrative. It is here that Drew turns to Martin as his final hope. He produces an affidavit, demanding Martin's signature to legitimize his case. The moment becomes a test not only of legal procedure but of loyalty and conscience. The camera lingers on Martin's hesitation, capturing the internal war playing out across his face. He has betrayed friends before, but betraying Stella, signing his name to an attack orchestrated by Drew, may be a line too far. Martin's ultimatum. The preview for August 21st promises a dramatic escalation. Martin, weary of serving as Drew's pawn, prepares to deliver an ultimatum. He will not sign the affidavit unless Drew abandons his crusade against Stella. For Martin, this is not simply about legal maneuvering, it is about drawing a moral boundary that has been blurred for too long. He has tolerated Drew's manipulations, rationalized his schemes, and justified his lies. But Stella is family, and Martin cannot stomach watching her be sacrificed for Drew's vendetta. The ultimatum puts Drew in an impossible position. If he yields, he risks losing leverage and appearing weak. If he refuses, he risks alienating one of the few allies still standing at his side. Either choice forces him to confront the consequences of his actions, something Drew has evaded until now. The cost of power. This episode crystallizes a theme long woven into the fabric of General Hospital. Power always carries a price. Drew's attempt to control the narrative in Port Charles has only succeeded in creating fractures too deep to mend. His enemies are no longer isolated individuals, they are interconnected, their shared pain uniting them against him. Stella fights for her name, Sonny battles blackmail, Michael struggles to clear his reputation, and now Martin contemplates defection. Drew once believed his intelligence and foresight made him untouchable. But the walls are closing in, and the alliances he has relied on are eroding faster than he can rebuild them. Each miscalculation pushes him closer to exposure, and each exposure brings him closer to downfall. What comes next? The cliffhanger leaves audiences speculating. Will Drew sacrifice Stella to maintain his grip on power, or will he bend under Martin's ultimatum? Either path promises devastating fallout. Should Drew relent, he risks emboldening his enemies, signaling vulnerability they will eagerly exploit. Should he resist, he may find himself isolated, betrayed by those he once considered allies. As Port Charles braces for the next chapter, one truth remains undeniable: Drew has become his own worst enemy. The tighter he clutches at control, the faster it slips through his fingers. And for the citizens of Port Charles, that unraveling promises both peril and opportunity. Would you like me to extend this into a continuous flowing narrative style, without section breaks, more like a long magazine exposé or serialized recap, so it feels even closer to 10,000 characters in one uninterrupted block? That would give it a smoother, dramatic tone, similar to what you've asked in past requests.